but people don't ask for consent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had a person, like an Uber driver, who was helping me, like, I got my wheelchair out and stuff like that, and he was very nice. But he, like, put his hands on my shoulders and was like, "We're going to pray for you now." And I was like, what?
PEP Radio is a part of the Pennsylvania Equality Project that plays music, news, and weather, actively advocating for the LGBTQ+ and disabled since 2024.
PEP Radio, available on Live 365, Roku, Alexa, and at paquality.com.
Here at Gay SA Radio, we're very happy to welcome the Othering podcast to our airwaves. Catch the show every Thursday at noon CAT, bringing fresh voices and compelling conversations straight to you.
Head over to gsaradio.stream to find out how you can tune in and become part of our family. Don't miss it, only on Gay SA Radio, where you are family.
One man and one woman join forces to rid the world
What are you doing?
of inequality and fascism.
Seriously?
I'm trying to do a promo here.
For whom? What are you doing?
Welcome to the Othering Podcast with Mike and Dory.
Hi! Can you hear me?
Yep.
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to
Nice
meet
to meet
you.
you.
Thank you for joining us.
Of course, of course. Thank you for having me.
All right, today we are talking to Maddie Ulman. Maddie is a disability and film consultant, advocate, and storyteller, changing the narrative on screen and behind the screens. Adopted from Hong Kong and proudly based in Dallas, Texas, Maddie draws from lived experience with cerebral palsy and diabetes to champion visibility and truth in media. She's worked with studios like Netflix, Warner Brothers, and Disney, most recently contributing to Wish, which features the first visibly disabled Asian American character. Maddie is a voice for change, pushing the industry towards bold, authentic representation of disability in every frame. Welcome, Maddie. It's great to have you.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here and chat with y'all.
We're happy about
Yes.
that. Now, Dallas, Texas. I used to live there. And
Really?
Yes.
Whereabouts?
I lived in Plano, and I lived in I can't remember the other town. I remember the street was like Banquo. Garland.
Oh, yeah. Some more DFW suburban area. Dallas covers so much.
Yes, it does.
I mean, Dallas proper.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've been to Garland and Plano, and those are great places. Great restaurant, great food.
I remember them being good, and it was a long time ago because I was like 6 when we moved, but it was awesome being there, and I loved the accent and everything, and I miss it.
Yeah. I've been in Texas. This is actually the second round, but this summer it's gonna be 4 years, and I enjoy it. I have a great community. There's nothing quite like Texas, though.
Right. It is another like country sometimes.
You could drive 8 hours and still be in Texas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you grow up in Hong Kong for a lot of your childhood, or did you move out pretty quick
I'm
when you were
adopted.
adopted? Okay, so you were out early.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was adopted at 2 months and then 3.5 So I was adopted but domestically by a couple in Hong Kong at 2 months, and then I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy and then given back to government welfare and then adopted out internationally at 3.5.
Okay.
So I bounced around, but I spent majority of my childhood in Colorado. I actually grew up on a farm. I went to high school in Texas, Boston, California, and now Texas.
You've been everywhere.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been a lot of places.
Yeah, and it's a different vibe each time you go to someplace new. And it kind of always throws me at how you can be in the same country and yet get totally different culture and totally different accents and totally different types of, warmth or lack of warmth, depending upon where you are. And it always just fascinates me at how we can be so diverse and yet be a part of the same, larger culture.
Yeah, that's the joy of America,
Yep.
the melting pot and whatnot. And, in my adulthood, this is the first time I've stayed more than 2 years at a place. So it's been very nice to, put down roots and to see where life is going. But, yeah, it's nice to put down roots. I'm always up for an adventure, but lately that's just been on the ways of traveling for speaking engagements or conferences or whatnot. But one of my goals in life is to visit all 50 states.
Oh, that
Yeah.
would be awesome.
I don't know what number I'm at, but yeah, it's vast America.
Yes, that would be
Yeah.
cool. I've lived in quite a few and I visited quite a few, but there's still more I want to see and kind of not necessarily live in, but I would love to be able to travel and see some more of this country. I mean,
So,
there's a lot of beauty here.
yeah. So medically speaking, moving around and going from state to state, have you found a big difference in the care that you get and neglect or lack thereof? Or has it been pretty
Well,
consistent?
Well, I mean, there's two realms into it. I feel like it always takes a bit of time to find your care team.
Yep.
And because I have so many specialists and so many things that I have to handle in my day-to-day life, Dallas is actually the first time where I've had a complete care team and whatnot, just because so many things have popped up within the last 4 years. But I think in a larger sense, healthcare, it's usually the same round. You always have to advocate for yourself. You always have to find the people that you feel safe and comfortable with. And basically my journey is until I had a woman of color who was my doctor, I've never been taken seriously until then. So
That's sad.
now I really try to have women and women of color on my team, just because. And of course, this is not a general statement, because there's always exceptions. But
Of course.
I feel like they always take me more seriously. But it's healthcare journeys. Always got to advocate for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Always
For
got to
sure.
be more prepared, because they'll fight you on some things. Like my former PCP, I had to stand my ground a little bit to get a wheelchair, because she said I was too functional.
Wow.
She said I was too functional, and I've never, in my wheelchair journey, I've never been told that I'm too healthy and too functional, and that I'm too good to get the support. And for a long time, I believed that. But the more support I've gotten, I got an insulin pump, I got a wheelchair, I had some surgery, the better my life has become. But it's always very interesting to see how doctors land, especially when you kind of sit in the middle of health and whatnot. But it's just crazy to me that so many people tell me now that, oh, you look so healthy. Oh, why are you in the wheelchair if you can walk? Oh, yeah. You're too functional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mind your own business.
You have to prove how disabled you are. And I think that's so weird.
It is, actually, because, why can't they just believe us? It's not like if we were doing it for attention, that's something else that also needs to be addressed. And so either way, if we're lying because we need attention or we're telling the truth, you should still treat us as if we're always telling the truth. Find it out first, and then kind of maybe help guide us to wherever we need to be. But don't assume that everybody's just lying.
Yeah, and it's always interesting to me that Because in my mind, like having a physical disability that's visible since birth, like why would you have to fight so hard? Why would you have to like get a mobility aid knowing that like society's not going to be accessible if you didn't need it? Like I talk to so many people that are just like, oh, I don't need it. And I'm just like you can have it. Like you can have that support. Like there's nothing wrong with that. You don't need to need it, like be falling down to be able to have that support. And yes. I also think like it's been a journey of like how do I use it? Always having to explain like where I'm at, and also the mind shift that I had to go through for this wheelchair eval of just like having to think of my worst days, having to think of like when I'm like at my worst, because people don't usually like to hear that. People like you always have to fight to, you know, show how independent you are and show how active you are. And like it, like literally I had people tell me, okay, you need to think about the worst times where you can't get out of bed, where this, and it was such like a mind shift that was really trippy. But I was just like, this is how much I mask. This is how much ableism comes through. And like going through that process, I'm sure you resonate.
Oh yeah, definitely. 100%. Because for my wheelchair journey, at first I felt guilty needing one because I figured, oh my God, I'm taking away from somebody else. And then I thought about it. I'm like, but if they need it, they should be able to get it too. So if I need it, then I should get it. So I started the journey, and at first the insurance is like, oh, you definitely don't need it because you're not falling down the stairs in your house 24/7. And it was really frustrating because it's like, you're not here. You're not watching me go through struggles of not only getting up and down the stairs, but walking across the floor.
I think they have to deny you 3 times before they'll say yes in every scenario.
Because one wheelchair dude said to us when I said that we were on our second round or something, he told me that it's usually like 3 to 4 rounds before insurance will finally pay for the for your wheelchair, which is to me incredibly ridiculous and callous.
They're hoping you'll give up.
Yeah, and it's just like you have to fight the system so hard to like just get the care you need, and it's just like every day you have to fight to prove yourself every day. This and medical treatment is like, I mean, you shouldn't have to fight any of it, but it's so wild to me that medical treatment is so hard to get through.
It is, and it's dehumanizing. It's polarizing sometimes, and like because you feel like you get angry. You understand that they're under a lot of pressure, and especially since COVID. But at the same time, you're angry because it's like, why can't you listen to me?
Yeah, it's why can't you listen to me? But the broader scope of like people being surprised how much like the wheelchair like is good for me. Like I'm in the wheelchair to be able to do more with less pain and to be able to walk in 20 years because my joints just can't handle it. But it's also just like when you're in the wheelchair, and I'm not just trying to say so many negative things, people don't even see you.
Right.
People see you, but like they don't. Like I'm getting more of like if I'm with a friend, people will ask about me to my friend while I'm sitting right there. And it's just like, yeah, I'm here, I'm capable, but I shouldn't have, like, we as people shouldn't have to always do that.
Right.
Like, and check on stuff. So it's been a real journey for that. And it's just like so much emotional labor. I had one friend call it, oh, I'm my own medical secretary.
Yeah, it is kind of like being like that.
And you shouldn't have to be that way.
No.
Yeah.
I think
Definitely.
We need, all of us in wheelchairs, we need pokers. So that when we are in our wheelchairs, whether it's because the day was bad or you have to use it all the time, we need pokers so that when we're in crowds or we're going through and somebody starts talking about us, and not to us, we can just shove the poker at them and remind them that we're right there. And there have been, like, we went to a baseball game, and all I could see was asses.
I know, you're so close to
Yeah,
asses, and it's so
really annoying.
so awkward. Yeah.
I mean, where else do you look at? You don't want to like look up because your neck is going to start hurting, and I felt awkward staring at everyone's crotch or ass, and it's just like
I know.
and it's just so I think we need poker so that we can tell them to move out of the way or just like come down to our level.
Yeah, one of the things I quickly realized is that people have no awareness of their body.
Yes.
Like, no awareness at all until you're right in front of them. But it's also a very interesting dynamic because people expect me to be an expert in this.
Yes.
And, like, I'm having to face my own ableism that I didn't realize I had. But like, I'm, like, people... Like, I've always felt like people expect more or less from me. And, like, this is not just to be, like, cynical or something, but, like, this is just the reality of this. But people always expect me to, like, have less capability or, like, know more than I do. Like, I call myself an advocate now, and for a long time I really resisted because all I wanted to be was just myself. And then I went into the phase of, I want to be who little Maddie needs to see. But I really think if you're an advocate, not that you aren't an expert, but you need to have a wider focus of disability aside from your own story to really be an advocate. But like, always when I go out, people ask me questions and I'm just like, I just got this wheelchair. I'm not an expert, and it's really having to like define whether, okay, is this just new to me? Am I just being sensitive, or is this valid?
Right.
Like, is because I have a more nuanced modicum of rage that I didn't have before. Because it's just like, I have to call restaurants, I have to do this, and like with the psycho inaccessibility, like people don't go outside because it's not accessible. And then the people the like systems we have, the ADA compliance, people aren't used to taking, like being ready to take it because society doesn't naturally think, oh, I'm going to see a person in a wheelchair. And so people, again, don't go outside because they know it's going to be inaccessible.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just exhausting. But I've had to balance it because I'm usually like, I'm not against like explaining. I really believe people don't know what they know, and most people, and until you've had that direct contact, or until you've had experience, people don't have to care, and that's just the human experience. That's not saying anything bad about people.
No, it does seem like that, but I still argue that they should care because you never know when you're going to be in a situation where you might need that extra help.
Everyone's going to be disabled at one point in their life by age and circumstance. Totally agree.
As a non-wheelchair user, I have a question for both of you. Would you prefer someone come up to you and talk to you and ask you what's wrong, or not necessarily ask you what's wrong, but you know how a lot of people don't understand proper way of talking and kind of being like, what's wrong with you? Why are you in that chair? Or would you prefer them to kind of leave you alone and not risk the kind of nasty confrontation that people tend to do?
Do you want me to go first?
It's a hard question.
Of course you want the perfect
it really
world.
Is.
Because I want people to be curious. And I want people to feel like they can ask me in a polite way what is going on. Why are you in a wheelchair? If it's not the first question, I want them to recognize me first.
Yes.
Good answer.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, I mean, to ask me that without asking my name or anything else.
Right.
But I think it's also, like, just depends on the day.
Yeah.
It just depends on how much energy I have, because explaining your existence over and over and over gets exhausting. But, you know, I firmly believe that we need community, but we also need allies. We need people to understand. And it shouldn't be on us exactly, but like, if I have the emotional energy, I'm fine. Not everyone's like that, because everyone's in a different place. But we need allies. We need people to learn. And like, for a long time, I really had some feelings about being the only one in the room, being the only woman of color in the room, not just, being the only woman of color in the room and then being in a wheelchair. And I was like, why do I have to be the only one? Why is this? And like, on my more positive, like, the shift I've gone to recently is that, you know, it's a privilege to be that, because I know I'm going to make it easier for the next generation, for the representation I needed it as a kid. And like, not to be egotistical, but because I'm in the room changes, and for the next person, they'll know a little bit more.
Yes.
Exactly.
And I really hold on to that, because it gets exhausting, but I want it to be easier for the next generation.
Me too.
And working on Wish was everything, because I needed that as a kid. It would have shown me so much, because I did not have high hopes for myself. Like, I was never just like, oh, I'm gonna prove anyone wrong, and I can do anything. I wasn't that. I know how society is going to treat me, and I saw that. But if I had seen disability representation and Wish, I would have been like, okay, I can live a good life. Okay, it's gonna be harder, but like, I can do that, because representation, it turns the question into reality. Like, people don't have to question whether a person in a wheelchair can do that, because they've seen it.
Right.
And it's just like, I feel like when, like, people have low expectations.
Yes, they do.
Like, people have low expectations. So, yeah. Sorry for that.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Tangent.
And it's true, because as a fellow woman of color, sometimes it's kind of put on us. The onus is put on us because we stand out. Not because we necessarily want to, but because we don't look like everyone else, we're going to stand out because of our color, because of our eye shape or skin tone or whatever it is. And I admit, when I was a little girl, I felt ashamed about it, because I was in a sea of nothing but white people. And it's not that they tried to make me feel bad, but it's hard. It's hard not to.
It's so hard.
And now I'm proud of who I am, and I see it as a blessing, because I get to open the doors that other people don't get to open.
Exactly. I like to make the joke of, I don't have to try to be remembered. I'm kind of unforgettable.
Yes.
And like, you know, I've realized that a lot of disability spaces, and every disability is valid, but a lot of disability spaces are primarily white people, and usually I'm one of the only ones with a physical visible disability. And it's always interesting, because when you stand out so much because you're the only one, you feel so weird about it.
Yeah.
And like you said, ashamed of it. But when you're in a sea of white people, you cannot fit in. There's no possible way to fit in. And I grew up, like, being an adoptee, like, I was surrounded by white people. My family is white. Like, I had to go through a whole thing of, like, coming out of the fog and being like, oh, I'm not white. Stuff like that. But the thing that changed that for me is that I've gotten more community. And I'm never going to get someone exactly like me with all the nuances. But if I can find another person with diabetes and we can connect over that and stuff like that. But yeah, I really resonate with that, because yeah, it's just a feeling of like fighting to belong
Yeah.
when you see no one else like you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just knowing that others go through similar problems and knowing that you're not alone, like you said, it makes a huge difference.
It does.
Just doing this podcast has been healing to both of us.
And
Yeah.
I've gained so many new friends and family members in my mind because I've found people that understand and know what it's like to not only be othered, but also know what it's like to be the only person in the room and sticking
Yeah.
out. And as a kid, you know, I wanted to blend in. I wanted to be able to be the fly on the wall type of thing and not always stick out, because sometimes when you're young, you don't understand the privilege that is of being the, you know, I guess not to be narcissistic or anything, but your beauty is shines more because you're the only one. And you don't have to compete quite the
power.
same. Yeah, there is power in
There's
it.
power in that. There's so much power. And yeah, a big thing in my life is the power of story. And I always say, live for the plot. And that's actually my business name and my creative name, because everyone has a story and we do not hype our story up. We do not start with the strong points because we're so afraid of talking about ourselves. And you know, what would life be if like people realized that exactly what you said so much earlier in life? Even you know, both of us have started with the premise of like not to be narcissistic or not to be egotistical, but like we're literally just telling about our stories. And I think that like that needs to be a journey for everyone, because I'm always just like, why didn't you start with that?
Right.
Why wasn't this the first thing I learned, because that was so good? It would like, you know, sometimes I even forget. So sometimes I forget to talk about Wish, and like, because I don't want to seem egotistical or arrogant.
But it's not.
No.
Especially when you're in a marginalized group, I think we deserve to be just as egotistical about our accomplishments as the mediocre
For sure.
white man is about.
The confidence of
Yes.
a mediocre white man.
We deserve that because we try 3 times harder to get to the same place. And we accomplish things that, you know, other people may not get to. And that's okay to share it. We have to stop being so afraid, especially as minorities, being afraid of sharing what we've accomplished or what we can accomplish or what we want to accomplish, because we're always told that we have to shrink. And, you know, you're not supposed to be seen, or, you know, you're too much or too this or whatever. We need to be that because we deserve it just as much as everyone else.
And you really understand how much people don't expect that.
Right.
Like, people innately don't expect that, because it literally was only 50 years ago that the ugly laws were in place.
Right.
Or, like, the ADA is only 36 years old this year. Like, that's so young. So, yeah, we should, like, I always premise it with, I'm not trying to be, like, toxic positivity or everyone's on their journey, but like, just as you said, we cannot shrink. Like, we can take up space.
Yes.
Exactly.
Like, we deserve that. Everyone deserves that.
Exactly.
So,
And it's not just it's a fight, but I don't have to fight to, like, I don't have to fight to prove my worth, because I know my worth now.
Yes.
exactly.
Like, yeah. And that's what I'm hearing from you, of like, I realize who I am, and I realize, frankly, the badass that we all are.
We
But,
are.
yeah.
You know, even if there was no such thing as disabilities and we were all perfect bodied and everything like that, we still have every right to shine. We still have every right to be a badass and do what we need to be happy people, because shrinking and not sharing our stories doesn't get us anywhere, and it makes us unhappy. And finding... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. And especially as a woman of color.
Yes.
Like, even that is just so interesting, but also being as nuanced. What were you saying?
I'm just saying that I'm guilty of this too, but we have to learn to remind ourselves that we are worthy, we're just as beautiful, we're just as smart, we're just as hardworking, and we have to also get over our imposter syndrome.
Oh my gosh, so much imposter syndrome.
If
And
those
so much
people,
internalized ableism.
yeah, if those people, if you want to call them that, in our regime can do the shit they do with absolutely no understanding of anything, then we have no right to have imposter syndrome, because we actually do know what we're talking about. We actually do know what we want out of this.
Because we live it.
Yeah.
Right.
We live it. And yeah, it's just like we are at a time where there's such a divide, and sometimes I think there should be, because people don't understand it. Like, I came from a white family, and just trying to talk about my experience, they don't get it. They don't get it at all. They don't understand why I'm carrying my passport around every day.
Right.
Like, they don't. And, how would they? But, yeah, it's just a wild time.
It is.
And, yeah.
So, before we forget to mention it, that was your experience as a film consultant is definitely something I wanted to talk about, working with Netflix, Warner Brothers, and Disney. How did that get started? Was Wish where that started? Was that your first adventure in that, or did something else happen?
Like the consultancy, or just working?
Working with Disney.
Just
and
working in
with
film
Wish and such
industry.
Okay, so I like to say, like, my journey is the most Hollywood journey there ever could be, because I just made a connection, and I'd never read a script before that, but I just showed up, and I just kept showing up. And so when they got a overall deal with Warner Brothers, I came along with. And so that was my first experience. I spent 2 years on the lot. I was thrown into the fire. I didn't know what to do. It was really tough. But from that, I was able to be a showrunner's assistant on Netflix. And what a showrunner's assistant is that there's a writer's room for every TV show. And like, I was an assistant for the showrunner, which is like the head person. They do all the communication with the studios and whatnot. And then the amount of like people with disabilities, like creatives with disabilities who have the level of experience I gained from that, very, very few. And so I was brought on and reached out to when this opportunity came about. And so that's how I was able to work on Wish. And then, it was the best experience working with Disney, because like, they were so open to it. They were just like, how can you get better? Or like, they asked the questions. They did this, but they were open to it. And, I did that actually in Dallas, over Zoom. So that was interesting. But yeah, that's really how it started. I found, especially after that, I found I have such a passion for disability representation in media, because again, it turns possibilities into realities. Right. And like, people don't expect us to have possibilities.
Oh no.
So, and it brings awareness. Like, for example, I'm now a producer for a documentary being made about families with medically complex kids who are fighting to advocate and fighting for community, and who feel isolated. And so that's called State of Care. And so many people don't know about it. But it's just, getting community, and like the response has been so lovely. Matthew Nelson is a filmmaker based in Texas. He's worked on documentaries. He's worked on nonprofits, and that's just his heart and his care for these families. Because when you have a child with disabilities and children who need care that goes beyond anything else, you don't get seen. You have to fight so hard. And some of these comments when this first started was like, why are you doing this? Like, what kind of life does he have? Like, what kind of life does these children have? And like, just fighting to get on these government programs, or fighting to be seen. And so I'm so excited for that possibility. We actually got accepted to be physically sponsored by the Gotham Institute, and we're now in the phase of fundraising and partnering with organizations, and it's so exciting. But I had to really fight with myself to even call myself an advocate, to even call myself a speaker, to even be that voice, because to me, I have so many different communities. I have so many different disabilities. Like, people make an entire platform on having diabetes. People make an entire platform on just one of the various disabilities. And I'm just like, I do not have the energy, so I'm going to cheerlead. But yeah, I'm taking that and running with it. I want to speak more. I want to do that because I'm willing to be in front of the camera. I'm willing to speak on that. And like, most of the people I talk to are just like, oh yeah, I fell into this because I had to. And that's the story. But yeah, that's really my passion. And I've done a lot of community planning in Dallas. I was actually part of a team that threw a grant of the city of Dallas Arts and Culture. Amazing program. But we hosted Backstage Access, the first art show for disabled and neurodivergent artists and talent. We had a gallery, we had pole dancers, we had musicians, we had actors, we had singers, we just had everything. And so I think that's my passion. But more than anything, I just want to be known as a storyteller first and foremost. But yeah, willing to be that. And that took a long time.
Yeah. And the advocacy in film is so important because it's not enough. And that's one of the most watched media out there, it seems. That's a huge media that everyone watches, is the films and the movies. So it's so important to have that out there. And
when you win an Oscar, please come back.
So I'm just going to input a little stat. So from 2015 to 2024, the number of co-leads with disabilities, and these are just characters, total 129 characters out of 1,000 films. Mm-hmm. Like, the stats are so low, and like the characters who are actually played by people with disabilities, by actors with disabilities, are even lower. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of work to be done. There's so much good work that's happening, but like, again, we are very young in that. But I'm just, I just want that so badly. And I think, and like, just like you're doing in podcast, if you don't see it, if it's not around,
right,
you have to make it.
Yeah,
you have to make it.
And sometimes it can be daunting and it's scary, but do it anyway, because it's worth it. Because being able to say that you share stories or you make stories for people that have either similar or dissimilar disabilities is nice, because you get to see and hear what people are like, and all of these different things. You get to learn more about people. You get to learn about how it is through film or some sort of media. And we need so many more.
Yeah, we need so many more. And yeah, you realize that as an adult, and like, yeah, just like, I believe we should always be curious. We should always I have relentless curiosity, which sometimes has gotten me in trouble because I ask a lot of questions. But we should always be looking to learn more and always be looking to, like learn outside of our own disability experience.
Right.
And be in community.
Exactly. And the more that we share and the more that we represent, the more other people not only will be like, okay, awesome story, thank you. But it's also to those kids that didn't have anybody before. And now they get to see somebody who looks like them or who is like them and be able to enjoy knowing that they can do more than just existing.
Yeah, because society is so strong with the internalized ableism, with the ableism of this world. So, yeah, I believe it's a privilege, and sometimes you get it wrong, and sometimes you get it right. But like, as you said, do it anyways.
You can't.
Exactly.
You can't really learn if you come through with the idea that you already know everything and you can't make mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, sometimes mistakes can be really big. But you know what you do is that if it's against somebody, apologize and try to make it better and keep going forward. And, explain going forward, this is what you're supposed to do, not this. And, use it as a learning and stepping stone so that you can be better. Because that's, I think, the actual goal and the reason why we're here is to constantly try to be better.
Constantly trying to be better, but like respect everyone's unique experience.
Right.
I actually got I actually had a lot of backlash that was very informative because I was so fed up with like people without disabilities telling me not to use the word disabled, and like how like that was the first word they used, and I love the word disabled, and like so I was fed up and I was like, yeah, don't be afraid to add that second word, like disabled and I got like, and people immediately was like, we should be able to exist. We should be able to exist and not be something and that wasn't my point at all. So it's definitely been a case of learning and nuance and respect, because I was like, oh, I could see how that came out wrong. But like the root of it was that I didn't want like non-disabled people to like have such a problem with the word disability. I feel like people with disability should lead that. And like, even if it's like special needs, even like if it's like handicap, like if the person with disabilities, with the lived experience, wants to define themselves as that, that's beautiful.
Right.
But people just have such an uncomfortableness. Like they're so uncomfortable with the word. So we get like euphemisms, like differently abled, or like,
and I hate that.
Differently able. I really hate that too. But we as people with disabilities should be the conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a forever learning thing. And yeah, it's hard to know. So I had a lot of people educate me and like take the time, and like I had to explain myself and understand people's points. But yeah, I think once I got over that fear of like making mistakes, like saying things wrong, or like, trying, or like just accepting that I'm not going to get it right, and I'm going to like, but as long as I learn.
Yeah, that's the key, is that as long as you keep trying to learn and not just take the criticism and double down on what you said, it's about, sometimes you have to, but it's about listening to the other side within reason and understanding, okay, I get where you're coming from. This is where I'm coming from. And, sometimes it's a compromise, sometimes it's not, but it's always a growth experience. And that's how we get better, is by growing and understanding there's no way in hell we're going to know everything about everything.
Yeah. And, I'm always in the phase of what can I learn from this. And like, I've been dropped in a lot of situations, like my job at the studio, where I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to show up and I'm going to hype myself up and I'm going to trust myself and I'm going to live for the plot because I want to. So what would we be as a society if we started with that and we were just like, okay, I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm going to learn.
Right.
And so
I think we would be a lot better.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because so many people are
Absolutely.
terrified of making mistakes. And I get that. Nobody likes making mistakes, but we can't learn if we don't.
Yeah, exactly.
That's usually where the best learning is.
Exactly. And like throughout listening to your podcast and Ty's podcast and every bit of story, like I'm learning so much. The whole reason why I got a wheelchair is because someone in the community was like, Maddie, you need that support. Maddie, like you need a wheelchair. And she worked on me for 2 years. And I finally sat in a wheelchair, like at the Billy Expo. Do you know what that is?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
Yeah, love it. And so I sat in a wheelchair and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. But you know, the best part is that I am so fast. Like I am so fast. I'm just like, oh, I can leave people in the dust if it's a flat surface, especially if it's a downward slope.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I've had to have Mike kind of hold me back so I don't go flying into stuff going down hills.
I know.
There's a lot of hills over here.
I know, because you bounce.
Oh yeah.
You bounce at the end and you're just like, oh my gosh. Yeah, just like, yeah, bike gloves help my hands.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good point to actually make, because I don't think a lot of people know that. That you can get bike gloves or some sort of gloves to protect your hands, because
Yeah.
when you're trying to stop, that friction burn hurts.
Yeah. And you know, like, thankfully there's people who's willing to share their experience, because there's no manual about
No.
this. Like any healthcare situation, they're just like, here's the things. Good luck. I'd be like, I don't know what to do
Right.
with this. So yeah, it's just like you find out little things and you learn tricks and ways to do this. Like I went to Threads and I was like, how do you open doors? How do you do wheelies? And the amount of people who were just so kind
Yep.
and like told me different ways. I was like, okay, yes,
Yeah.
amazing.
Because they don't always, when they give it to you, the wheelchair, they don't always tell you how to use it. Other than, I mean, some of it is self-explanatory, but not all of it is. I still am trying to figure out how to do a wheelie correctly and
my
not
gosh.
like bash my head in type of thing.
Do you have anti-tips?
Yes.
Yeah, they saved my life. Saved my life.
Yes.
The
And
center of gravity, man.
yeah. And understanding that is an important aspect that they don't tell you when they give you the wheelchair. It's just like, here you
Yeah.
go. And had I not had social media, had I not been able to see everybody talk about those things, I would have been so lost.
Yeah. And I mean, there's so many resources out there. Like, I saw another wheelchair user with like a bag, like in the front, like attached to his wheelchair, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is that? And then I saw like froggy legs, casters, and like Abilities Expo changes my life every time I go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it's so insane. Like it's been, but yeah, you really have to like figure out how to find those things, because no one's going to give you a guide unless it's community.
Right.
Right.
I was surprised how many wheelchairs don't have handles to push people with. That actually surprised me.
because people like to move you.
Yeah. What the hell is that
People
shit?
like to people just like to move you. So like, you know, I paid out of pocket for another wheelchair, and I just got a wheelchair that has foldable handles so that people don't move me, because I made this video and I was like, do not touch me without consent, because
Yeah.
people are just like, go behind you. And, you know, I was at a wedding recently, and like I was on the dance floor waiting to say goodbye to my friend, and this person just suddenly grabbed my wheelchair and spun me around on the dance floor.
Woo.
Twice. Yeah. So yeah, I learned very quickly why a lot of people don't have handles.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a surprise to me too. But then I quickly figured it out.
I've seen some people put spikes on theirs, and I think that's a great idea. You don't go up and grab just any old person's ass. So why the hell are you touching somebody's wheelchair?
Yeah, and here's the thing. It's a very nuanced struggle for me because I do need the help. I do need to be pushed in times. I do need that support, and I have to rely on other people, and I always have to be grateful and be humble. But then, but people don't ask for consent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had a person, like an Uber driver, who was helping me out, I got my wheelchair out and stuff like that, and he was very nice. But he put his hands on my shoulders and was like, "We're going to pray for you now." And I was like, "What? Why?" And I was just like, and I realized these are the kind of things we're taught to put up with because we have to be grateful. But I was like, why are people touching me? Why are people just moving me? So yeah, spikes really make sense.
It's an extension of our body. And it helps us actually navigate the world because our legs don't always want to cooperate, or they don't at all.
Yeah.
And so these are literally a part of our bodies. And to touch our bodies without consent, it's so American, by the way, is really annoying and dangerous and frustrating because nobody comes and picks you up on your waist or arms and then moves you out of the way. Nobody does that to you. So why the hell are you doing it to us?
Yeah. And, it's again, you probably resonate with this, but I am so protective of my wheelchair. People, it's a folding, the one I've had for a year is a folding one. So it looks like a hospital chair, but you have to do it a certain way. And people will just yank my wheelchair apart. And I'm just like, do not touch it. They put on the pad wrong. And I'm just like, no.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people are forgiven just on the basis of, oh, they were just trying to help, or they just had good intentions, or they just did this. Yeah, just ask for consent. Ask this. And I always tell people, because I'm usually the first person in people's lives who uses a wheelchair or who's disabled or anything like that. And I'm always just like, don't worry about it. I'll ask you if you I need help. It's not something you have to feel weird about, but I find myself in the same situations when I'm learning about different disabilities. So I understand that, but it's up to us to be able to listen to different experiences and to give everyone the power to advocate for themselves. Because a deaf friend versus blind friend versus this, I don't know what to do or anything like that. But yeah, it's just people shock me. Audacity. Yeah. And quite honestly, white people have the most audacity of anyone else.
Yep.
White people. And it's just like, come on, guys.
Exactly.
It's true. As a white person, I'll admit it.
Yes. And it can be annoying. And you mentioned, being humble and grateful. And to an extent, I agree. If you ask somebody for help and they help you, yes, be humble and grateful to them because you asked and they, provided that help that you needed. But we are not obligated to feel humble or appreciative of somebody just trying to help if we didn't ask you for help.
Yeah. Exactly. So many people just think it's fine if they have good intentions. And that goes for every marginalization that I am. People think it's fine because they have good intentions. And I'm just like, that does not erase the hurt or the damage caused or any feelings.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Intentions never negate harm.
It's like a stranger coming into your house and starting to clean your house. They have good intentions, but mind your own damn business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
however, if any stranger does want to come and clean my house, please.
Yeah.
Please come.
Yeah.
And I would be forever grateful because we need that. Our windows specifically.
Oh my gosh, windows. I think it's also a realm of like, I've had to learn how to advocate for myself and what works for me. And like, sometimes I don't want to do that because it's so damn exhausting.
Oh yeah.
It's so damn exhausting having to advocate myself at every turn. But like, I think that's also an element of it. And it's just like asking for what we need, but like also telling people. But like sometimes I don't realize what I need until it comes up.
Yeah.
Like, especially with internalized ableism, I'm just like, look at me, look how much I can do. Like, oh, I can still walk, so I must not need the will.
Yep.
There. So, yeah.
I do that too, where sometimes I try and just go ahead and walk, and I'm like, okay, my legs aren't paralyzed, so that means I must have to walk. And they always say use it or lose it, and I'm like thinking, okay, I've got to use it, but I then overdo it with that thinking, because yes, the internalized ableism is so prevalent sometimes, where you neglect yourself because you're just like fed this steady diet of individualism, and you've got to do it yourself. You got to do it yourself. And asking for help is a weakness. And it is not. It's actually a strength, a huge strength, being able to ask for help. Yeah.
And I think in general, like, it's become this odd sense of, I have, like, since I got the wheelchair, like, I have to prove how disabled I am, but I also have to prove how capable I am. Mm-hmm. Like, when I first got measured for this, they gave me so much room. Mm-hmm. Like, it was too big of a wheelchair, because you know what they said to me? They said, you're probably going to gain weight. So you need a bigger wheelchair. That, like, until I got it changed, that wheelchair hurt my shoulders every time. Mm-hmm. I have muscle. I have big shoulders now. I had to actually get more bigger clothes. But it's just like, again, the paradox of having to prove that you're this level of disabled, but also having to, like, tell people, oh, it's just a tool, or and the funniest realm, I have to tell doctors all the time. Yep. Oh, don't worry, I have this, but it's not like I'm using this full time. It's not like I'm going to lose what I did. And, like, everyone around me was like, why are you doing this? And, I explained, but, sometimes you have to, like, just do what's best for yourself.
Yes, you do.
Right.
And just as much as no is a complete sentence, so is because I need it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, sometimes we want to explain, and that's fine. Do explain it if you feel like it. And if you don't, you can just say, because I need it.
Yeah.
They are not, like, we as disabled people are not obligated to explain our existence, to explain anything about us. Right. Like, yeah. And it's okay. A kind of a hilarious part of me. Sometimes I'm just like, I see, like, I'll come up to a thing, and, like, sometimes it's so funny to see people's blood drain out of their face, because they're just like, I have no idea what to do with you. I have no idea how to do this. Or, like, it's just like, oh, we have to find the key for the gate because that is the accessible entrance. But
it should be always opened.
It should always be opened. Like, elevators are locked. Like, elevators are locked. Ramps are blocked. Mm-hmm. I don't. No, but
And it
Yeah.
always amazes me because just in England alone, they are throwing out $1.5 trillion. I believe it's just England. So imagine at how much they're just leaving out worldwide by not having the ramps open or the bathrooms, the accessible bathroom stalls cleared out and open, and the steps. I mean, yeah, I understand that sometimes it's hard to retrofit your company or whatever for wheelchair
Yeah.
users or other disabled people. But to leave out over $1 trillion is ridiculous.
And accessibility helps everyone.
Yes.
People don't realize that audiobooks, that texting, that glasses, that phones were created for people with disabilities.
Yep.
Like, it's just integrated. Like, everyone, workplaces, houses, anyone. And it's not just like wheelchair access. Everyone benefits from accommodations.
Right.
But everyone. So the more like accessible we can make this world, the better it is for everyone. But people don't care until they do. And it's just like, why wouldn't you do
Right.
this?
I mean, like, for instance, the tagless shirts and underwear and all that stuff, that was for
Yeah.
people with sensory issues.
Yeah.
And like you said, the texting, just having a tablet, period, was
Yeah.
originally for somebody with disabilities, that we take for granted now. Laptops, a lot of stuff that we have was made originally for people with disabilities. And
Yeah.
so we take that for granted, and we need to stop. We need to think about that and realize that how much better our lives are because of these innovations that allow not only disabled people to use them, but makes it easier for those that are able.
Yeah. And if you really think about it, we're all just disabled yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not like everyone is going to be disabled. And it goes back to, I feel like education is just existing in the same room, because it's always so interesting, because I talk to people and I'm always just like, yeah, you can use this. Yeah, speech to text works. Yeah, you can be a part of the community if you want to be. And people just say, I just have ADHD and I'm just managing it, or I have this. And yeah, more people need to use the things we got, but also like accessibility is all over, and like ramps and curb cuts and everything like that.
Yep.
And usually my friends are always just like, ever since I met you, I realized the world really isn't accessible.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like, and the interesting thing about it is that if the environment isn't accessible, people make it accessible. Like, people have to fill in that gap. And there's such resistance on that, because people are just like, why do we have to accommodate you? Why do we have to do this? And I'm just like, because you will need to be accommodated one day.
Right.
And like, it's just so wild to me.
Yeah.
Well, not only are they going to need to be accommodated for, but also it's the right thing to do.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, treat everyone like human beings.
Right.
And that always seems to be the least sticking point. And people would love to think, oh yeah, I'm so inclusive. Oh yeah, I would never do that. Oh yeah, I'm a good person. That can be true, but at the end of the day, people are so surprised. People are so inspired by everyday things, because they innately don't think a person in a wheelchair, a person with disabilities, whether seen or unseen, should be out in society.
Right.
Because again, ugly laws, all this stuff, and it's just like, oh, they have no life. Oh, they're all sad. And I'm just like, this is my experience, but I have a great life. What are you talking about? And like, but they also don't like to hear about the shitty life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want us to look like we have a shitty life, but they don't want to hear it, and they don't want to believe that we could possibly have a fulfilling life.
Right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're running out of time.
Boo.
It went way too fast.
Yeah, way too fast.
Boo, 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 boo.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Anything else you want me to hit or anything?
Sure.
Yeah,
Like
I'll
how to
do.
find you.
I was just going to say, first of all, thank you for joining
Yeah,
us.
thank you very much.
Of course.
And-
This has been such a great conversation.
Yes, I
Oh my
agree.
gosh.
And yes,
So
if you
grateful.
want to put anything out there, whatever you want people to know, go for it. And I'll definitely put all in the show notes as well.
Yeah, I would like to say, and I can give you links. Follow me at the Maddie Ulman and check out my website and check out Live the Plot. I'm open to speaking. I'm open to consulting. I'm open to anything. I just want to connect to people, and speaking, keynote, organizing, I'm open to all of it. And then look up MatthewNelson.com and State of Care Instagram to be able to donate to our upcoming documentary for families of mentally complex kids, because that's in every community. But
Excellent.
connect with me, talk with me, all the good stuff.
Yeah,
And
definitely good
thank
stuff.
you for all your
Thank
advocacy
you.
and all your help in this community.
And, that was awesome what you did with Wish and all of those other things. And I hope that when you win that Oscar, you come back and talk to us and let us know how it's going and, what it was like winning the Oscar.
Well,
right.
I will always be a big fan, and I'm just so grateful to be here. Thank you guys for hearing what you do. Thank you for the app to see, I know sometimes you get such backlash, but thank you for having this platform.
Thank you.
And I'm just so happy. Let's chat again.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited for you in wheelchair life. I'm so excited for future guests. And
All right. So-
again, not precious about anything recorded. I don't think I said anything I wouldn't want out
Okay.
there.
You said you
Yeah,
were
were
really
good.
great.
Yeah. Again, on my speaking journey, all this sort of stuff. But thank you guys. All
Thank you.
right, have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Othering Podcast by Mike and Dory. Please like and follow us on all of your favorite social media.
The Othering Podcast is produced by LoudCore Productions, graphics by Josh, and music by Jordy James.